Assalamualaikum and hi, I'm NORHIKMAH binti SUDIN and my metric number is S59869 and I'm from K2. So today I'm going to show you on how to solve three questions. We'll start with question 1. Here there are two types of income statement. That is the traditional format income statement and the second one is contribution format income statement. So basically the traditional format income statement organizes costs into two categories, which is cost of goods sold and selling and administrative expenses. While for contribution approach, it separates costs into variable expenses and fixed expenses. So the figures are already given in the data above, so we just insert them here. For sales, 12,000, cost of goods sold, 6,000, and then to get the gross margin, sales 12,000 minus cost of goods sold 6,000. For selling and administrative expenses, we do not know the total selling and total administrative, so we have to find them by adding the variable cost and fixed cost. So variable selling plus fixed selling 2,500, we get 3,500. For administrative, variable administrative plus fixed administrative 1,500, we get 1,900. For total selling and administrative expenses, we have to find them by adding these two figures. We got 5,000 here. For net operating income, gross margin minus total selling administrative expenses 5,000, and then we get 1,000. For contribution format income statement, for sales, also the same, 12,000. Under variable expenses, it has three items right here. Cost of goods sold, 6,000. Variable selling, 600. Variable administrative, 400. And then for the total variable expenses, 6,000 plus 600 plus 400 equals to 7,000. And then for contribution margin, 12,000 minus the variable expenses, 5,000. For fixed expenses, we have fixed selling and fixed administrative. Fixed selling 2,500, fixed administrative 1,500, and the total is 4,000. For net operating income, contribution margin minus fixed expenses equals to 1,000. So the net operating income derived is the same in both formats, that is 1,000. So we move on. Question 2, job order costing. There are 5 steps to be completed in this question, so we'll begin with the first step to calculate the estimated total manufacturing overhead cost for each department. So in this question, the company has two departments, which are milling and also assembly department. For milling department, it uses machine hour as allocation base, and for assembly department, it uses direct labor hour as allocation base. For total fixed manufacturing overhead costs, we can directly take the amount from the data given above. Variable manufacturing overhead per machine hour for milling department is 2 ringgit. Variable manufacturing overhead per direct labor hours for assembly is 3.75. Total machine hours for milling department is 60,000. Total direct labor hours for assembly department is 80,000. Total variable manufacturing overhead. So in order to get the total variable manufacturing overhead, we need to multiply the variable manufacturing overhead per machine hour or direct labor hour with total machine hours or direct labor hours. So here, 2 ringgit times with 60,000 And here 3.75 times with 80,000. To get the total manufacturing overhead, we need to sum up total fixed manufacturing overhead cost with total variable manufacturing overhead cost. So for milling department, 390,000 plus 120,000. For assembly department, 500,000 plus 300,000. Step 2. Calculate the predetermined overhead rate in each department. So for total manufacturing overhead, we already derived the amount from the previous step, so just insert total machine hours for milling department is 60,000. Total direct labor hours for assembly department is 80,000. Predetermined overhead rate is calculated by dividing the estimated total manufacturing overhead cost by the estimated activity base. So here 510,000 per 60,000. We get 8.5, and here 800,000 per 80,000. We get 10 ringgit. Step 3. Calculate the amount of overhead applied from both departments to job 401. So to calculate the manufacturing overhead applied, we need to use the actual amount of activity base. So here the actual amount of machine hours is 90, and for assembly is 20. Then to find the manufacturing overhead applied, 8.5 times with 90, 10 ringgit, times with 20. Step 4. Calculate the total job cost for job 401. For direct material, just take the amount from the question given above, 800. For assembly department, 370. For total, just add these two figures. Direct labor cost, 70. For assembly, direct labor cost is 280. Total, 350. Then here 965. To get the total cost of job 401, sum up these three items. And then we'll get 2485. Step 5. Calculate the selling price for job 401. So the total cost of job 401 that we've got is equal to this one. And then to find the markup price, we need to multiply the markup percentage right here, 75% times with the total cost of job. And then the selling price of job 401, we get 4348.75. Okay, so next question is question 3, process costing. For question 3, we will use the weighted average method. Equivalent units of production is the number of units transferred to the next department plus equivalent units in ending work in process inventory. So in this question, since we do not know the units transferred to the next department, we have to fill the amount of equivalent units in ending work in process inventory. 40% times with 400 for materials. For conversion, 25% times with 400, then we'll get 100. After that, we already know that equivalent units of production is equal to units in beginning work in process inventory, 200 plus units started into production, 5,000. So 5,000 plus 200, we will get 5,200. Total equivalent units of production, 5,200. Deduct equivalent units in ending work in process inventory, 400. We will get the total units transferred to the next department, 4,800. Thus, we always assume that units transferred to the next department are 100% complete. So, for materials and conversion, it will be 4,800. So here, to get the total equivalent units of production, 4,800 plus 116, and here 4,800 plus 100. Cost per equivalent units. Cost of beginning work in process inventory is how much? 9600. For conversion, 5575. Cost added during the period, enter. And then for the total cost, add these two items. To get the cost per equivalent units, total cost divide the equivalent units of production. And then for the conversion, so cost per equivalent units for materials is 76.25, and for conversion is 72.75. Cost of ending work in process inventory and the units transferred out. For ending work in process inventory, equivalent units is and then to get the cost of ending work in process inventory, equivalent units multiply with cost per equivalent units. And then to get the total, 12,200 plus 7275. For units completed and transferred out, units transferred to the next department, 4,800, 4,800, cost per equivalent unit, and then to get the cost of units transferred out, using the same method that we calculate for the cost of any work in process inventory, we will get the cost of units transferred out. And get the total cost of units transferred out. 366,000 plus 349,200. Cost reconciliation. Cost reconciliation consists of two items. That is cost to be accounted for and cost accounted for. So in cost to be accounted for, cost of beginning work in process inventory, we need to add 9,600 with 5,575. Cost added to production during the period, this one plus the conversion cost. And then the total cost to be accounted for, 15575 plus 719,500. So in cost accounted for, cost of ending work in process inventory, insert this amount, and then get the total cost. Okay, so we're done with all the questions. Thank you.